Bank in Cleveland at the corner of Keith Street and Stewart Road. Call Ken Do 423-381-3427.
And the Logan Thompson Law segment, our weekly segment, once a month. The Logan Thompson Law Firm turns their segment over to get a recap of the Cleveland Board of Education meeting and from last night. And Matthew Coleman, of course, is he's a proud partner there at Logan Thompson, but he's also on the Cleveland Board of Education. Matt, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Let's just jump right in because you had a very active meeting last evening.
Well, we're kicking back into school, and that brings a lot of folks out, and it was fun to see everybody because we take July off, and so getting back in with August, and then school starting this week. I think the director's out on the buses this morning, and so it's just been a full plow thing. But I've got these two wonderful ladies with me this morning. I guess I'm the thorn between two roses was the humor last night. But everyone knows Renee Diamond, one of our newest school board members. I'll say youngest too. One of our newest and youngest school board members. And Lily Hakes is here. She is a student representative this year, so we thought we'd bring her in and let her. Jackson has turned over those reins. And let Lily introduce herself, and maybe I'm going to ask her some tough questions this morning as well.
I'll be ready.
But let Renee kind of talk about the policies a little bit, and then we'll move from there.
Yeah, so at this time of year, we are updating all of our policies, and particularly with the active legislative session, there have been a lot of things that have impacted us as a board. And so last night, we presented about 12 policies that were approved on first read that are aligned with new state law. And then we had about 12 more that are going to be up for second read next time. So we were all pretty versed in those policies. We were able to attend a legal conference in July that kind of explained all of these new policies for us. And so, we just kind of went through and ticked them off and got them in.
Well, the one getting the most attention, obviously, is cell phones.
Obviously,
and
yes.
Cell phones in classrooms. Your board took it up last evening. The Bradley County Board of Education will have a special call meeting today about this. It's getting a lot of attention. So let's talk about what the Cleveland Board of Education decided on that.
Well, we really, and then I'll turn it over to Matt, we really followed along with the TSBA recommendations for this policy. Such a new, widespread, and controversial policy that sprang from the state law. I think that we will have a lot to learn this year. We asked for a couple of updates over the next few months just to see how the procedures that are attached to the policy are implemented, and how our students and families are reacting to that. But I think right now it's probably a safe place to be in just the TSBA recommendations, and then as we see things that need to be changed, we'll change them. Although I think Nate had one change, wanting to see how this policy will, what's been its impact.
Next year.
Yes.
Yeah, and so jump in. I'm an old school guy as you are, and we didn't have cell phones when we grew up, and we still have problems in the classrooms. We had distractions and everything else, and as we have talked to teachers and principals and others, communication devices across the board is the number one complaint of teachers in every classroom. And that's really from middle school and up, because a lot of the younger kids are not getting those. But it's just constant texting. And then from a student standpoint, the bullying, the interaction. Now, we can't prevent that at home across the board, but let's do what we can within the classrooms. And so the state legislature, because of a lot of pressure, they enacted a law that said we need to be doing this a little bit more in the classrooms and pulling these cell phones. And we got behind it. And so where we needed to draw that line, and this may be what the county's debating now, is where do you draw that line between, there are so many ways to receive wireless communication devices now. I mean, your iPads, your cell phones, these Apple Watches that everybody wears. And so we have really taken the role at this point of saying all of those need to go. There were also some internet limitations and some of the other policies that went into place unrelated to this, but it's really trying to prevent a mechanism for people just to be talking and texting during class as opposed to listening to the instruction. Now, that doesn't prevent a parent from communicating with their kid. All of the kids have assigned email addresses, and they should have access to those email addresses. The idea is, to get out the Snapchat and those other whatever devices they have and just try to limit those from bell to bell before and after class. So I told Lily, as a student representative, I'm going to put her on the spot. But I really think that when I was reading when this notification went out in the paper and the Facebook did what it did and all of the comments out there, a lot of folks were unhappy with it because they're used to that constant communication as a parent with their child. We don't need that, and sometimes we need a little bit of that space, but that's just me being me. So, Lily, what do you think do you think this is necessary? I guess is my question for you. Do you see a lot of distractions in the classroom? Do you think it'll be helpful? What are your thoughts?
I think it'll be helpful to get rid of cell phones because I think as much as I love my cell phone and I love being on my phone, it's a distraction. And it is. And it's, even if you're not on your phone, it just helps you be more present, even if it's not like you're able to have more kind of chat with others, be more present and actually communicate at school with friends, not learn how to talk to people, not just, on your phone. And I guess learn how to do things without phones or without needing help or needing to cheat or needing to do other things that you would get on your phone.
It brings up a question. Lily Hakes, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior this year.
You're a senior at Cleveland High School. It brings up an interesting question in your generation. I'm going to sound like an old person, but, when Matt and I were at Cleveland High School back years and years ago, we could not have imagined cell phones. And I'm not weighing in one way or the other, but it's not my position or my job. But here's what I would say. What do you think your generation, I've got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. So what do you think about people your age, and you just said it, being able to put the phone down and that, now look, it's not just your age group that's dependent upon phones, we pretty much all are, but to actually sit and look somebody in the eye and have a conversation. Where is that nowadays? Educate me.
I think we've lost that a little bit. Yes, it is important to be able to talk to people and reach people at a longer distance through your phone, but I think it's much more important and to have that kind of stability and confidence to be able to talk to teachers and look people in the eye and because in a job interview or anything like that, you're not just going to be on your phone. You're going to have to actually look that person in the eye and have the confidence to speak to them and talk to them. And I think we've kind of lost that, but I think with this new law, as much as it might take some resistance, it will ultimately help us in the end because it'll but help us to actually learn to talk to people rather than on our phone.
Well, this is a wonderful position for you. What does it mean to you to be the student representative on the Board of Education?
It means a lot. I've only been to one board meeting yesterday, and there's a lot. I have a lot to learn, but it's nice, and I'm glad I have this position to be able to kind of communicate and be that person for the school and be able to make sure the voices at Cleveland High School are heard by the board.
We have thrown her in the fire here on the first board meeting because I know this is a very unpopular thing with the students, and for her to be as candid and honest and balanced in her response, I think kind of shows the great things that Lily's going to bring to the board this year as our representative. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your mom?
About
sister,
myself? Yes. So I'm from Cleveland. I've lived in Cleveland all my life. My mom's name is Audra. She actually works at Bradley Medical Center. And my sister, her name is Emma. She goes to Bradley, but it's okay. But
She goes to Bradley, and it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
No hard feelings.
That's fun.
But inside of school, I really do enjoy school. I enjoy taking AP classes. I'm a Rader Scholar and things like that. And I enjoy, taking these harder classes and being in rigorous classes. But outside of school, doing extracurriculars, I do a lot. I do running in the fall and the spring with track and cross country. And then I'm in the show choir at the school. I'm in student government, Model UN, National Honor Society, so many things. But outside of that, when I have a break, when I have time, I enjoy traveling. Like over Christmas break last year, we went to London And then my mom surprised me on Christmas with a trip to Paris.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So that was a lot of fun. I've actually been to 4 or 5 different countries now. So
What do you want to do in the future?
I want to become an occupational therapist in the future.
Just tremendous. Matt, we're joined by Matt Coleman, Renee Diamond, of course, the Cleveland Board of Education. What, anything else from last evening that comes to mind you'd like to mention here?
No, I think things are just moving forward, getting
Yeah.
the kids into the class. We do want to, we've tried to set up something with this wireless device to actually have some data to look at in a year as far as, grades, performance, discipline. What are some benchmarks we can look at to see whether this has been a helpful plan or not. And then obviously seeing what kind of issues we have going forward. She mentioned before we got on the air, one of the issues that we really debated is what level of enforcement do we have on this? Is it a fine? Do you take your phone away? How do you really enforce this? Because we're letting them take their phones with them during the day. They just can't have them turned on during the classroom. So, it's anytime you start something new, you've got to be fluid, and we'll see how this plays out and adjust accordingly. But me personally, I'm excited. Let me ask you this: Does your 16-year-old have a phone?
Of course.
When did you start that at your age?
That was 13, I think.
Okay.
So a little later than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it will be an adjustment, no doubt. Renee, anything you want to add here before we go?
Just encouraging everyone to, be flexible in this. Having our teachers be a role model in this is important. Back in my day in the classroom, I didn't have a phone either, and we made it just fine. I think this is almost like note-taking on steroids that we really need to get under control so we can have our students more engaged. I think it's a good thing.
Matt, I said if we'd had cell phones back when we were in high school, I would be a doctor now because I would just be, Googling everything and I got all the answers.
Well, we had those. We had that Zach Morris brick phone. Okay.
That's right. Well, I was more of the screech.
Well,
But,
with Dad being a doctor, he had one of those big little suitcases he carried in the late
that's
80s,
right.
early 90s. It was kind of cool. But
That's right.
what was that, $7 a minute or something?
The Logan Thompson Law Firm, and of course, part of their community influences, things like this. Thank you all very much. Great to see you. And hey, visit Logan Thompson.